Whoa, that was loud. Okay. So
This off's loud. Okay.
volume down. Okay, here we go. Hello, welcome. And this is day 2 of Wellness Week. If you don't know, I'm Shanna Pizer at Coach Shanna P in all the places. And we are talking about wellness this week, and probably not in the way that anybody that came with expectations was expecting to talk about wellness. I'm not talking super specific about different areas of wellness, but I am going to, let's see, share screen. If anybody wants to come into the Zoom, the link is in the Facebook group and it's also on the webpage. I'm going to share my screen here. And just really quick, again, this webpage is linked in the Facebook group, and it is also linked, I guess just in the Facebook group. And this is, if you signed up via email, this is where you were originally directed to. And you can, from this page, shannapizer.com/wellness week, you can join the free Facebook group, start where you're at. I'm guessing everybody is pretty much in there. Yesterday's call was here at 4 p.m. Pacific time. Today we're at 1 p.m. Pacific time. And the Zoom link is right here on that page as well. Is it not linked? You might have to copy and paste that into, I thought it was linked though. If it's not linked, you can copy and paste it into your web browser and it will bring you to the Zoom call. So this page is going to house all of the video replays, and it also houses the materials. So if you scroll down, you pass the join Commit to You group coaching community. If you have questions about the community, please reach out and ask. I would love to answer them. It is a great resource. I mean, it's just a great community resource, period. My nose is running a little bit. I am so sorry. I apologize. It is a great community place to find women that we love Jesus in there, and we're all forward facing, working on becoming more of who we want to be, more of who God created us to be. And it is a very positive group of women. If you join by Sunday, June 11th, you get a couple of bonuses there. And then scroll down, and if you click on the downloads page, it takes you into this Google Drive where it has the workbook, and then separately it has the wellness wheel, which is also included in the workbook, and the daily routine page, which is very helpful. And it will also host, here is yesterday's video. You can watch it or you can listen. There's an audio only option that you can listen to it. And so what did I want to do? Yeah, I think I wanted to look at the week. Goodness gracious. The Zoom bar is covering what I want to get to. So the Wellness Week workbook, yesterday we went through, where did we go through? We went through the wellness wheel, and we talked about all the different areas that you to look at to create more wellness in your life. And the idea from yesterday was to look at each of these areas, rate where you're at on a scale of 1 to 10 right now in each of those areas, and then think about where I'm at now in each of these areas, in relationships, in mental wellness, physical health, and all of these things. Where am I now? What would it take to get me from where I'm at to a 10? So that was the beginning of yesterday, kind of go through each of those and then decide what area you want to focus on first to create more wellness in that area. And I believe I said something to the effect of, when I'm looking at, okay, what do I want to work on next? I'm thinking, what can I work on next that's going to have a ripple effect? Like it's going to have impact on other things, and potentially focusing on this one thing is going to help me reach other goals along the way. So focus on the area that you want to work on. And it could be one of these, like one of the overall areas, or it could be something within the slice of the pie. And then what's it going to take in this area? What would need to happen to get me from where I'm at now to a 10 in this area? And then what do you want to work on eliminating from your life? What do you want to work on starting? And what do you want to keep on doing that's going well? So that's kind of what we talked about yesterday. And today, it's a blank page. Rhythms and habits. And I talked a little bit. I'm going to stop this share. You have access to this workbook in the materials, and I hope that you will utilize that. And I want to hear from you. I want to know, what is it that you're wanting to focus on? What is it that you want to create more wellness in your life? I would love to hear about it and talk it through with you if you want some help on anything. So, rhythms and habits. I talked about rhythms a little bit yesterday because I have decided, instead of to use the term balance, I like the idea of rhythms to replace that. And balance, because balance is like, it needs to be equal, and it's not equal. There is no equal in life. There is give and take. There are times in life when you're more focused on one thing than the other. There's more times in your day, in your week, in your month, that you're more focused on one thing than the other. I think that one thing that's super helpful with creating rhythms or some sense of balance in life, I think that we, especially as women, and I hate saying that, I really do. I'm not because of anything outside of us. I think it's internal, because we want to be able to do everything and do everything well and be all things to all people. And we just can't. It's not possible. So I think that one thing that is super important is to, when you are living on purpose, when you're creating purpose, intention in your life, and this is something that I really work on, that I am working on, I am a work in progress in this area, is being present where you're at. So if it is work time, whether you have a job outside of your home or inside of your home, you're building a business, whatever, when it is work time, focus on that. Allow yourself to really put your everything into that, instead of thinking, I should be doing this. I should, I feel guilty because I'm not with my kids, whatever it is. When you're doing that, when you're thinking, I should be somewhere else, I should be doing something else, my kids, all of that, you're not at work and you're not with your kids. So you're divided. a double-minded man is unstable in all of his ways. So I think that it's really important to, wherever you're at, be present there. When it's time to be with your kids, be with your kids. Don't, oh, I have so many things I could be working on. There's so much stuff. I think it's really important to, and this, I don't know where all this came from. I did not prepare this at all, but it's important to be present in the moment where you're at. When you're with your kids, give it all to your kids. Then that way, when you're at work, you don't feel so guilty not being with your kids, and you can really focus on work. So I think that can help create that sense of balance and rhythm in your life, especially if you have it kind of mapped out, or have your routine organized. This is work time. And it's easy if you work outside the home, because you have to go to work and be at work. If you're working from home, it can get a little bit more complicated, especially if you're running your own business or whatever, and especially if you have kids and you're at home running your own business. So I think it's important to kind of think that stuff through ahead of time. And again, totally not what I was planning on talking about today. Just throwing that out there. Okay, so when you think about creating wellness or getting healthy in a certain area, and it can be, and health and wellness can absolutely be physical, mental. It can also be relationship-wise, spiritually, your environment, like creating more wellness in your environment can be something to work towards. And that, if your house is cluttered and you're like, I'm frazzled all the time and I just want a clean house, creating that for yourself can bring wellness to you. So when you start thinking about that, about creating wellness, about getting healthy in certain areas, and it can be finances, it can be whatever it is, you automatically go to, oh, I need to start doing this. I need to start doing this. I need to stop doing this. That's getting in the way. And you think about exercising more, or eating healthier, or spending less money, or getting rid of the clothes in a spare closet to declutter, whatever it is. And it's our automatic thought, like what I need to do, which is totally normal. And also I want to challenge that a little bit. I want to not, because we do need to do the things. Doing the things is what gets us to whatever result that we want, but we're going to back it up a little bit. So when you are creating habits, and habits are what determine what we're going to get. When we're doing something repeatedly, it's going to add up and it's going to create a result. If we are really listening to our body and only feeding it when it's hungry, and feeding it what your body actually wants, and stopping when you're not hungry anymore, and drinking water, and you're creating those healthy weight loss habits, those habits are going to lead to weight loss. And habits are the things that we put on repeat, that we do without having to put much thought into them. And also, as we're creating habits, we put a lot of thought in them. It takes a lot of mental energy to create a new habit. It takes a lot of thinking. And the goal is to get that habit to a place that we don't have to think about it as much, right? So think about a habit that you have created or started, that you have turned into a habit on purpose. You went from not doing this thing, whatever it was, to it just being part of what you do. That's just what I do now. And as you were building it into a habit, you put a lot of thought into it. It took a lot of reminding yourself to do it, or reminding yourself why you wanted to do it, whatever it is. So thinking about that, like, when have you started doing something? And it can be something as simple as flossing your teeth at night before bed. That's something that is a habit that I have worked on several times in my life and even recently, and it still is not a habit, but I am determined that one day it will be. I will just be a person that flosses my teeth before bed. So when we think about wellness, creating wellness, getting healthier, whatever it is, in whatever area of our life it is, we immediately go to, what do we need to do? What do I need to do? What do I need to start doing, stop doing to be that best version of myself? And thinking about the actions makes perfect sense. And let's back it up a little bit. In my coaching, I have something on. Oh, that's awesome. No idea what that is. Sweet. That was not, oh, I know. It's cinnamon. I put cinnamon in my coffee earlier. In my coaching, I teach the self-coaching model, and I have not even introduced it to my group yet, but I am going to be teaching that in a little bit of a different way now, because I love the way that one of my coaches teaches it. She has really done a great job of incorporating it into alignment with the Bible. And I really love that. So it's the creation cycle, and creation cycles are constantly going on in our life. And it is, we think something, we have a feeling or emotion, and that feeling or emotion drives our action. And that is really narrowing it down, because we have thousands and thousands of thoughts every day, and a handful of emotions, and then actions that we take out of those emotions. But when we do the creation cycle, we narrow it down to, what is this one thought that you're having? How does that thought make you feel? What emotion does it create in your body? And then what are the actions that you're taking out of that emotion from that thought? And it lines up. You think, you feel, you do. Think, feel, do. As a man thinks in his heart, so is he. As he's thinking in his heart, creates emotion, you take action. Your actions are who you are. Your habits, you're like the sum total of all of your habits. And the Bible says, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. We are changed when our mind is renewed. We are transformed. So, in saying all of that, instead of focusing solely on, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this, I need to do this, I have to do this. If I want to lose weight, I have to do these things, I have to exercise more, I have to, whatever it is. So instead of focusing on what you want to be doing, I want to challenge you to start working on who you want to be, and work on thinking that leads you to be that version of yourself. So who do I want to be? If your focus that you want to get started on is, and let's face it, weight loss is just the easiest example to use for pretty much everything. So I always kind of default to that, because it's just, it's an easy example. So if it's weight loss, I want to be a person that weighs a certain amount or wears a certain size clothes. What does that person look like? What does that person do on a regular basis when they are that weight, when they do wear that size clothes? Who are you? What do you do on a regular basis? What kind of foods are you eating regularly? How much water are you drinking regularly? What is your sleep like? What are all of those habits that maintain that person? Not how do you get to be that person, but what does that person do? And I don't want to be a person that is always working on weight loss. I want to be a person that lives in size 8, 10 clothes, that eats delicious nutritious food and enough food to nourish and energize my body, but not so much food that I don't stay in my 8 to 10 pants or whatever. So that's who I want to be. And I say a lot, like that version of yourself, or how do you want to show up, or that kind of thing. And I love, it was just kind of, it's been crystallized to me a little bit. And the ideal version of ourselves is really what the Bible calls a new creation. We live in the identity that God has created us to be. And so there's the new man, which is you're a new man when you've come to Christ, the old has passed away, all things are made new, versus the old man, the way that I used to live my life, and a lot of times, like, I still do things I don't want to do. I love Jesus with all of my heart, and I want to be a light that shines to the world for Jesus. I want them to see Jesus through me. And also, I do things that do not reflect Jesus to other people. I just do. And so there are times I am walking in the new man self, and that the true identity. I like that. I like the true identity. And there are times that I am still walking out of that old man self, or that false identity. And I love kind of thinking about these things when you are thinking about what you want to do, and like in the moment and ahead of time. In the true self, the true identity, what are the qualities? What are the qualities that we want to present and to be? Not just present, but to be. It's not about how we look, it's about how we are. Thinking about the fruit of the Spirit: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, gentleness, self-control. When we're living in that true identity, we are those things. We present those things. We experience those things. We are open and vulnerable. And when we're being our old self or living in our false identity, we're like closed off. We're try to protect ourselves. We're defensive. And when we're our true self, we are self-aware, and we're paying attention to what we're doing and how we're interacting with people and how we're thinking. And when we are in our false self, we're self-conscious. We're like, what am I doing? What are other people thinking? And I love that idea. When I'm thinking about habits and life rhythms, this all plays into it. Who do I want to be? I want to live into my true identity more and more. I mean, yeah, ideally, I'm living in my true identity 100% of the time. But that's just not the case, because that false identity comes out when I'm feeling insecure, when I get resentful or bitter, or, doing things that are self-serving instead of other-serving. So thinking about, who do I want to be? And in these areas that we talked about yesterday, in relationships, my physical health, my mental wellness, spiritually, financially, which is not on there, but it should be, in all of those areas, who do I want to be? And that is where you want to start. And then you think, okay, when I am that person, when I act in that way, when I am peace and patience and love and kindness and gentleness and self-control and open and vulnerable and self-aware and joyful and just all of these things, what do I do? What does my life look like? What are the things that I do? So if you want to when you realize like the life that you want to create, the person that you want to be, living out that true identity in this one area, because we want to narrow it down because this is a 1 week thing. And I want you to really get solid in one area and see how it impacts the other areas, and then start working intentionally on those other areas too. So in order to create that identity, you have to create a day of that identity. And within that day, you create the habits that create that identity. And when you're thinking the thoughts that you think when you are that person, when I am wearing size 8-10 jeans, I am so happy that I listen to my body and eat food that nourishes my body and move my body and hydrate well and sleep well. And I'm so thankful that I can be more active. It's easier to move and all of this stuff. And all of these thoughts are going to lead to better actions and create better results. Better thoughts lead to better actions and create better results. So when I'm like always in the working on something. I have in our Commit to You group coaching community, we work on 90-day goals. And so we start, with the whole life that we want to create, right? And then we narrow it down. What can I work on in the next 90 days? And then each day I do in my morning routine, in my morning time, I am working intentionally on who do I want to be today? What do I want to create today? What do I want to think today to be that person to do those things? So I am always working on thinking on purpose to live on purpose. And I'm practicing thinking the thoughts that are going to help me to be the person that I want to be, to get the results that I want to get. Let's see. As part of my planning and journaling in the morning, which I do every day, one of the things that I do is I write who I want to be, what I want to do. And this is just like, each one of these is just like a 1-sentence thing or even a 1-word thing. Who I want to be, what I want to do, how do I want to feel, how do I want to think? And I do that every day, depending on what's going on that day. It can change, or it can be the same for like, a few days at a time. But I'm always in my mornings, I am working on it, being intentional about the way that I think. I always have habits I'm working on creating, habits I'm trying to change or hone in, or habits that I want to eliminate because they don't serve me and they don't help me to serve others. I have actions I want to take and things that I want to accomplish, and I want to do them from the most loving place that I can. The most loving and gentle and kind and nourishing. And I want to create, I want to create for myself out of ease and out of enjoyment. So I have to decide how I want to think about these things that I want to do that are going to help me accomplish what I want. I don't say, well, I sometimes do think it, but I catch myself. I don't ever think I have to do that. I need to do that. I need to get that done, blah, blah, blah. I change that always to, I want to do this thing because for my job, I want to go to my job because I want to earn the money to be able to pay my bills. And like that, I have to go to work. I have to go to work every day. Like that feels gross and it feels kind of stifling, but I want to go to work because I want to, number one, help people. I want to earn money to be able to pay my bills and live in my house and go out to dinner and do things. So I'm constantly paying attention to the way that I'm thinking and working on thinking intentionally. So looking back at yesterday, What do you want to stop doing, start doing, and keep doing? And think about something that you're already doing well. One of the things that you want to keep doing, think about that. How do you do that thing? Why do you do that thing? And what is it that you think about doing that thing? What do you remind yourself of? Are you, oh my goodness, you might be really good at drinking water. And like, how do you get yourself to drink the water every day? How do you create that habit? Are you like, oh, I have to drink this water. I have to do it. I know that it's going to help me, but I don't even like it. Because that's going to make it a lot harder to do it. Or do you think about, oh my goodness, there's so many great benefits of the water. I know that I feel better when I drink my water. It's something that's so easy that I can do to make such a big difference in a lot of areas in my life. So what are you thinking about that thing that you're going to do, that you're doing? And how can, if you need to clean up those thoughts, like how can you clean up those thoughts to make it feel more nourishing to yourself and more like something that you really do want to be doing? How can you make it easier? And then the same thing goes for what you want to start doing and what you want to stop doing. How do you want to think about if it's, if you want to start getting up at 6 a.m. and exercising, if you're telling yourself, oh, I have to do this, it's going to be so hard, I'm going to be so tired, that's going to make it harder to do that thing. If you want to do it out of enjoyment and out of love and out of nourishment for yourself, how can you talk about it differently in your mind? And the same, kind of the opposite for stuff that you want to stop doing. If there's something that you want to focus on eliminating, why do you want to stop doing that thing? Why? How is it not serving you? How is it keeping you from being that best version of yourself? And how's it keeping you from being able to serve other people and help other people? So thinking about what you're thinking about, that's one of the things that really separates humans from any other species, is we can think about what we think about. And it's so important to do that, because if we're just thinking and whatever our mind throws out, we just believe, it's chaos. So think about what you're thinking about and how can you think in a way that makes it easier to do those things that you want to be doing, and do it from a place of love and nourishment. And how can you set yourself up for success? How can you make it easier? If you want to get up and I love brainstorming the details. If you want to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and start working out, what time are you going to bed at night? Maybe that needs to change. Do you have your clothes set out, or are you sleeping in your workout clothes? Like, how can you make it easier? And I love brainstorming. I'm a solution finder and I love that. So I would love to chat with you if you need help with that at all. So again, what are you going to start doing? What are you going to stop doing? What do you want to keep doing? And how do you want to think about it to make it easier, to make it feel more nourishing for yourself, doing it out of love and not a beat down, like, oh, you're so lazy, you need to blah, blah, blah. No. I love it when my house is clean and decluttered, and I am going to enjoy making space in my house, and it's going to bring me so much peace. And so just think about how you're thinking about those things that you want to be doing or that you don't want to be doing. And again, I would love to hear from you. This video will be posted on the webpage and will also live in the Facebook group. And again, I love working on all of this stuff. Love it, love it, love it. I love the thought work, because it really is what makes all the difference. And I also love getting into the nitty-gritty details of how to set yourself up for success. So join the Commit to You group coaching community, and that is what we do. All of the information is on the webpage, and if you have questions, let me know. And I would love to hear, what you think, what you're working on, and if you have an area that you're wanting to work on that you're like, I don't know how to think about it better. I don't know how to think in a way that feels loving and nourishing in this one area. Let's talk about it. I'm totally open to getting on a coaching call. Have to figure out a time that works for people, but I would love to do that. And really, you know what? I'm going to do this. I am going to put in, because, I'm in California right now and I've got time, TBH. I am going to put a link in the comments in Facebook it's my Calendly link. And you can, if you want to get on a call and talk about what you're working on, problem solve, thought solve, which is my favorite, you can go ahead and click that link and schedule a call with me. I'm not going to try to sell you anything. I'm not going to try to get you to sign up for coaching. Would I love you to do that? Absolutely. I would love for you to sign up for coaching. This is my business now. This is my job. I resigned as a school counselor to work full-time in my coaching business. So yes, I would love for you to sign up. But I'm going to put this 30-minute call link into the Facebook group, and let's get on a call and talk about what it is that you're working through. And I would love to do that. Okay, have a great day. If you haven't watched the day 1 video, go back and do that and figure out what area you want to be focusing on creating more wellness in first, which will bleed into the other areas. Okay, thank you. Have a great day.